light sport aircraft entered the world with high and probably absurd expectations, as these lower-cost airplanes were supposed to introduce a new generation to the glories of personal aviation. When Cessna launched the 162 Skycatcher, it became clear that a revolution was afoot. Cessna was renowned for its classic designs and quality aircraft, dating from its beginning in 1927, creating the best in performance as well as in operation. Introduced in 2007 as a modern, low-cost airplane for training and personal use, Cessna 162 is an American light sport aircraft produced by Cessna between 2009 and 2013. With an ever-aging fleet of 150s and 152s, private individuals and flight schools alike were attracted to the concept of an updated two-seat Cessna with more cabin space, modernized avionics, proven product support, and a target price of less than $100,000. At that time, the market appeared to be ripe for such an aircraft, and the 162 appeared to be poised to fill the void perfectly. And because it was certified as a light sport aircraft, it could be flown by sports pilots without a medical certificate. However, the Skycatcher suffered from a number of self-inflicted errors, including a torturous manufacturing strategy and a constantly rising price. But the problems for the LSA industry go deeper than one botched product, and Cessna's experience has lessons for all of us. The Skycatcher was destined to sweep its way to the top of the light sport aircraft market, but ended up becoming just another dead-end general aviation product, leaving owners baffled. It's a minor footnote in the long history of Cessna, while both Cirrus and Piper have abandoned light sport aircraft programs. Designed as a trainer and for personal use, the aircraft was created to be a top-of-the-line tool for flight instruction and leisure flying. Its design evolved considerably from the first prototype, including the wing position and tail configuration. The high-wing monoplane has fixed tricycle landing gear with a castering nose wheel, and its structure is mostly aluminum with a fiberglass cowling. This compact aircraft is easy to park and can fit in a standard-sized hangar as its wingspan is just 30 feet. Though the Skycatcher shares similar general dimensions and layouts as the familiar 150 and 152, those similarities begin to fade as soon as you reach for the door handle. The doors swing upward, making entry easier. Early on, however, many door latches failed, causing the doors to pop open in flight. This isn't typically a problem in most airplanes. Traditional forward-hinged doors only open a few inches in flight, but in the case of the Skycatcher, the gull-wing doors can catch the wind, blow open, and become damaged beyond repair. Entry to the cabin is easy because the wing strut is positioned behind the cabin door, so occupants are able to enter and exit the cabin without having to step over the main gear. For a two-seater trainer, the Cessna 162 is equipped with a state-of-the-art interior and all new components. Settling into the cockpit, it quickly becomes clear that you're on a modern airplane. Gone are the antiquated greens, oranges, and tans from the 60s and 70s vintage trainers. In their place is a stripped-down, utilitarian interior completely devoid of any extraneous trim or upholstery. The floor and walls of the cabin are more reminiscent of a high-quality fishing boat, with rivets, lightning holes, and durable anti-slip paint visible in absence of any carpet or molding. This minimalistic interior is intended to lighten the airframe as much as possible and enable the airplane to meet the strict maximum light sport aircraft weight limit of 1,320 pounds. While not unpleasant to look at, the interior is devoid of any extraneous comforts such as heat and sound insulation. This becomes very apparent on cold days because any throttle setting below maximum cruise results in a very chilly cabin temperature. Applying carb heat further robs you of cabin heat, making winter patterns work in colder climates a very chilly experience. Fortunately, the generous cabin width provides some space for warm jackets. Compared to a 150, the Skycatcher provides an additional 8.6 inches of width at the shoulders. The cabin is even a full 4 inches wider than a Cessna 172N. The Skycatcher doesn't do much better in particularly hot climates. Neither side window opens, leaving the two wing root vents tasked with cooling the entire cabin. In the cockpit, the control sticks are also notable. Combining design aspects of both sticks and yokes, and thus earning the nickname Stokes, they feel much like a traditional control stick, but are attached to the underside of the control panel rather than the floor. This design frees up leg space, and most pilots find it to be an easy, intuitive transition from standard yokes. An electric trim switch is mounted atop each stick. The Skycatcher has no manual trim, and the trim position is indicated on the primary flight display. The 162 is powered by a 100 horsepower Continental O200D engine, equipped with a two-blade, fixed-pitch composite propeller. These engines are common in Cessnas and are easy to maintain, as parts are widely available and many mechanics have experience working with them. While having a 100 horsepower engine, the Cessna 162 is on the quicker side of most 100 horsepower aircraft, considering the popular Cessna 150 with the Lycoming engine carries 110 horsepower and has a max cruise speed of only 110 knots, while the Skycatcher has a maximum cruise speed of 118 knots. Some owners might consider engine modifications or upgrades to provide more power to their aircraft. While more power is often more desirable, it can also result in more fuel burn. The instrument panel is very clean, modern, and minimalist, with the highly capable Garmin G300 taking the place of traditional analog instruments. When it comes to training, pilots starting out with this avionics suite will find the transition to the G1000 to be a smooth one. An all-glass display provides the aircraft with top-of-the-line instrumentation for both day and night VFR missions. The comprehensive avionics package includes the Garmin G300 flight display, consisting of two screens, a multifunction display, and a primary flight display, Garmin SL40 radio, a GTX 327 transponder, and a Digitrack SkyPilot autopilot. Because the flight instruments are all found within the G300's primary flight display, a total electrical failure could leave the pilot landing without an instrument-based airspeed reference. Overall, the Skycatcher is considered a lively, fun-to-fly airplane. While the lighter weight can make it more of a handful in gusty, bumpy conditions, owners describe it as a very enjoyable and sporty airplane to fly. But that low weight also provides noticeably better takeoff and climb performance compared to a 150 with the same engine. The takeoff ground roll is 95 feet shorter at 640 feet, and owners report takeoff rolls of approximately 300 feet when flying solo. Rate of climb at sea level is 880 feet per minute, a 210 foot per minute improvement over the 150. This allows a short climb out on small runways with obstacles such as buildings or towers at the end. A fast climb out allows the aircraft to fly into smaller airports and take advantage of their amenities. Cruise speed is improved as well, with a 75% power setting resulting in 111 knots at 4,000 feet, an improvement of approximately 8 knots over the 150. The Skycatcher responds readily to pilot input, making it fun to maneuver. Owners report good handling qualities in flight, with no ill manners or unexpected traits noted. Both power off and power on stalls are benign and predictable. These refined handling qualities and flight characteristics reflect Cessna's thorough testing and certification process. Though approved as a light sport aircraft, the airplane went through similar testing and processes as it would have if it had been built and sold as a standard category aircraft, completing a total of 533 spins during the program. Accordingly, it lacks any bad traits or idiosyncrasies that sometimes haunt other light sport aircraft. Pilots who are accustomed to making full stall landings in a 150 or 152 will find that the Skycatcher has less tail clearance in the flare and is thus more susceptible to tail strikes, particularly in gusty conditions. This is an airplane that rewards a flatter approach, good airspeed control, and a less aggressive flare. Cessna's weight-saving measures are apparent in various places, from the manual flaps operated by a bar between the seats to the free-castering nose wheel, which requires the application of brakes during taxiing. With the O200D engine, the Skycatcher is capable of cruise speeds as high as 118 knots, with a maximum range of 470 nautical miles at a gross weight of 1,320 pounds. The Skycatcher has a landing distance of 671 feet, making it a great fit for smaller airports. Landing distance can be increased or decreased depending on the weather and the experience of the pilot. The aircraft has a standard empty weight of 834 pounds. With a full fuel load of 144 pounds, useful load is 342 pounds. The standard empty weight does not include the fire extinguisher, emergency locator transmitter, wheel pants, engine primer, unusable fuel, and many other terms normally included. The Skycatcher certainly packs a punch when it comes to altitude restrictions. With a service ceiling of 15,500 feet, supplemental oxygen will be required before the pilot and passenger even reach that height. For a number of reasons, the 162 is a failure in the general aviation market. By most accounts, this was primarily because of two closely related factors: failure to meet the original target price and the decision to assemble the aircraft in China. While Textron Aviation thought the latter would enable them to sell more airplanes by tapping into the Asian market, this never happened, and the existing US market was forced to absorb costs that it would have otherwise never incurred. Engines, for example, had to be shipped from the US manufacturer to China for installation before the complete airplanes could then be shipped back to the US. In order to maintain acceptable profit margins while such logistical expenses added up, Cessna was forced to raise the Skycatcher's price accordingly, from an original target of $100,000 to a final price of $149,000. Buyers were soured by both the price increase as well as the decision to assemble the aircraft in China, and orders were cancelled. Ultimately, Cessna ended up building and selling 275 airplanes before canceling the program entirely. The Cessna 162 was destined for greatness, but fell short on its way to the top of the ladder. It is a major mismatch with the industry's marketing. Learning to fly is all about freedom, yet light sports aircraft severely limit that freedom. Many pilots like low and slow flying, and it may be just what a retired airline captain is looking for, but it's not enough to draw a new person into aviation. The real failure has not been technological or financial, but in matching a new class of airplanes to a new generation of pilots. The light sport pilot rule hasn't inspired a wave of aviation enthusiasts or airplane owners, not even close. Rather, it's given older pilots a way to keep flying later on in life. That's no bad thing, but it's hardly a bold strategy for growing general aviation. Skycatcher owners caution that the cost and rarity of replacement parts are the most significant concerns when it comes to ownership. Airframe parts can be expensive and difficult to find, and because of the small fleet size, no organized owner group exists where parts and expertise can be swapped. The price point was the biggest downfall of the Cessna 162. With its small size, low power, and slow speed, it was not the first choice for most American buyers. With such a high price increase, the media shamed the company for creating an aircraft so unreasonably priced. Americans argued that an aircraft built in China should not have such a high price point. As a lot of the increases were due to Cessna generating more profit rather than the aircraft receiving improvements, it was not well received. The high price of the aircraft made it more expensive than many other models in its class and resulted in many possible owners with deposits on the airplane withdrawing their money and deciding to invest in something else. Moreover, it is not the most stable aircraft. Being designed as a light aircraft and a trainer, it can be difficult to handle and frustrating for a new pilot who is looking to build some time in a steady plane. Skycatcher owners truly enjoy flying an airplane that's only 10 years old, devoid of many issues that are commonplace among the aging fleet of 50 to 60-year-old alternatives. Because of its youth, the Cessna 162 has yet to develop any issues that come with age, and as a result, maintenance tends to be light. In conclusion, the Skycatcher is an approachable aircraft with a lively performance when you know its limitations. For the price of limited useful load and expensive, difficult-to-find replacement parts, the Skycatcher provides an airframe and engine that are less than 10 years old with reasonably sporty performance and modern avionics. If you can live with the aforementioned compromises, the Skycatcher offers a very unique and intriguing balance of qualities. However, despite the interesting characteristics and lively performance, the Skycatcher reached an inglorious end and is considered to be a failure in the general aviation marketplace. If you like our videos, please smash the like and subscribe button. You can also join us by clicking on the link next to the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.